blanket, wrapping you up in a big warm hug. I had one grandma a lot like that. We called her by the traditional name, Grandma. This is her. This is Grandma.
Not her.
I had another, not quite like that, but we called her Nanny. This is Nanny. I had assumed Nanny put the sexy anti-sticker on her own picture, because it's something she would do. It turns out it was my aunt, this guy's mom, who took after Nanny quite a bit, who did that one. Grandma was a devout Catholic. She lived her entire life in the small town of Newcastle, Indiana, sitting in the same front pew of St. Anne's Catholic Church ever since she was a little girl. At family dinners, she would alternate, calling out which grandkid's turn it was to say grace that evening. Me, my brother, and my cousins would all sneak glances at each other, wondering whose number would be up this time. My cousin Tim had the record for fastest mumble. Blessed is the Lord, please gives your masters, these are brother Christ our Lord, amen. There was a certain expectation of good behavior at Grandma's house, and one would certainly never swear in Grandma's presence. She was the clear matriarch. My dad is one of four, and the expectation was, at Christmas time, all four adult children and their families would make the trek to pack Grandma's small condo. I can still remember my excitement building during the 4-hour car drive, asking, "Are we there yet?" over and over again from the back seat. A lot of my excitement, I'll admit, was for the Christmas loot I would receive at Grandma's house. But I was also excited for the big hug from Grandma as soon as I walked through the door, to see my cousins, and for her kitchens full of cookies. In the summertime, Grandma lived for Walloon Lake, Michigan. Her happy place was sitting on a rocker in the screened-in porch. She dressed stylishly, so she would have been wearing some kind of a white blouse with a blue flower print, matching blue collar, colorful clip-on earrings, blue pants, and one of her many pairs of size 7 slim shoes on her tiny feet. Nanny, on the other hand, her favorite outfit was hot pink cowboy boots, tight black leather pants, some kind of black silk flowy top, and a hot pink bandana tied tightly around her head, to match the boots, of course. When Nanny visited, we played this game called Aggravation on a handmade wooden board, and she would cheat, swear, and lie the entire time. When she rolled the dice, if she didn't like what she got, she'd go, "Oh shit," and pick it up and roll again. The lying came in the form of farting and blaming it on my brother and I. At some point during the game, my mom would go, "Oh, mother," and she'd go, "What? That's not me, that's one of these boys, pity you," snickering at herself the entire time. I remember having this very clear thought as a kid. I didn't realize grandmas could act that way. For a long time, I would say, I have a traditional grandma and a not so traditional grandma. But as I got older, I began to see both Grandma and Nanny as more complex, no longer fitting into the traditional and non-traditional boxes I had put them in. As I learned more of their stories and histories, I saw them as more complete women, with lives fully beyond those of just Grandma and Nanny. Grandma was the first female in her family, and the only one of her friends at the time, to attend a 4-year college. Turns out, she also enjoyed a good party. She taught us all the sacred value of the most holiest of all hours, happy hour. Grandma's drink was Kessler's blended whiskey with just a tiny splash of Canada Dry ginger ale on top, along with her snack of choice, Cheetos. As kids, we all got to join in on the pre-dinner snacks and toast with sodas for our drinks. The importance of Grandma's happy hour was so instilled in me at such a young age that in the 2nd grade, I wrote the following in response to the prompt, the time I was most afraid. The time I was most afraid was when Mom and Grandma were gone shopping for so long that they almost missed happy hour. We decided we better go ahead and start without them. The end. And there was a lot more to Nanny than just silliness and a complete lack of inhibitions. My mom told me she grew up dirt poor in southern Indiana and never seemed to forget where she came from. With a house full of kids already, she and my grandpa adopted my Uncle Danny, my namesake, when another family in town could no longer care for him. She would go to the poorest section of town and pass out food and clothes. She would go places nobody else would go. She volunteered at the local mental hospital. Oh, and she was also president of the local PTA. Grandma was also civic-minded, volunteering for Meals on Wheels for years. It was Grandma who told me about Xavier University, a place that focused on service, social justice, and faith, and a decision I've never regretted. Toward the end of Nanny's life, she suffered from Alzheimer's disease, but the dementia in no way diminished her rebellious nature. She and her friend on the dementia unit used to ding-dong ditch the other residents, knocking on their doors and hiding around the corner. She called 911 to order Kentucky Fried Chicken several times. Toward the end of Grandma's life, her beloved St. Anne's was the target of burglary and arson, and sadly it burned to the ground. She never got to attend Mass there after the remodel was finished, but we were able to have her funeral there. She had donated most of the money that went towards a large stained glass window at the front of the church. She didn't want anybody else to know, but her family knew. I sat there at Grandma's funeral as the sunlight came through her window, and I thought of all she had taught me, faith, family, and the finer things in life, like happy hour. At Nanny's funeral, I talked about her commitment to service and helping others. And I also expressed my gratitude in showing me that you could be a good and decent person who gives back to the community, all while acting like a goofy, incorrigible stinker at the same time. A life philosophy I've adopted as my own. And I hope to pass on to my own kids someday. When the time comes for me to be a parent, if I can combine Grandma's traditions of faith and family with Nanny's spontaneity and fun, I think I'll be doing pretty well. And I should mention, I never knew either one of my grandpas. Both died young in the early 60s. But fortunately, I have my grandma, Mary Morris, and my nanny, Ruby Link, two strong, courageous, independent women who both helped to teach me nobody fits into neat little boxes, not even grandmas.
Thanks, Dan. All right.
Tape that whole thing.
Hopefully I can get a couple, 2, 3, maybe 4 of you
Oh man.
to be interested in playing a little game we call 3-sentence story. Now I'm going to show you how it works. Why does I'm actually going to pick Muffy over here. She's going to give me a subject. Something easy. Hanukkah. Okay, this is so the way a 3-sentence story works is I'm going to say one sentence and you all go
looking at you.
1. Then I say the second sentence, you all go 2. And then I say the third sentence, and you all go 3. So the subject is Hanukkah. Okay. I am not even remotely Jewish. I've always celebrated Christmas. But I love the idea of 8 gifts at Hanukkah. That is it. So who wants to try? Let's see. Our subject of